The newly constructed multi-million church falls under the West Uganda Diocese, and it is an idea of the Sam Kutesa family.
We want to express our gratitude towards you for the constant support that you've been giving to our church and the diocese in particular.
Your Excellency, this church is built for two main reasons. The major reason is in memory and thanks to our parents who received salvation and accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior and spread the gospel in this part of the world.
So I want to really thank the Honorable Sam Kutesa for building this church because of those two reasons which he told you. Because it is important for the new people to know the history, where we came from. So this church is like a symbol, a reminder, because we shall not be there, we shall go away, but if somebody writes what has happened today here and puts it on record, the future generations will know.
Addressing the congregation, the church could not hold its appreciation towards the president for his continued support towards the church and country at large.
Byotukoledde ge gamu ku masomero gaffe go wadde obuyambi erimu kulyo nga yekkako junior school watuwa obuyambi essomero eryo ne lirongoosebwa.
Thank you very much for the peace, stability and security prevailing in our country. Kubanga olwekyo waliwo freedom of worship.
To it is attested that the first family has been at the forefront of sowing the seed of evangelism in Uganda.
Allow me to thank you very much for allowing your own daughter, our sister, Pastor Patience Museveni Rwabogo, to preach the gospel in this country.
I therefore want to thank Manish Kataha Museveni and his family for building churches, not only here.
The event was graced by a cross-section of leaders, both from government and the faith.
Baza owekitiibwa President wa Uganda, tukwagala, tukusabira, tujja kuwagira, tusaba Katonda omugulu ayongere okuwa emikisa, ate weebale nnyo ky'otukoledde, n'ofisaawo obudde, n'ojja n'otulaba, n'ogulawo ekkanisa yaffe, n'otuwa ekitiibwa.
Referring to the late Pontiff Pope Francis' gesture of embracing all races of humanity, regardless of their religious affiliations, President Museveni has noted with concerns that the current world no longer has space for religious differences and bickerings.
The conflicts among religions is ungodly for people who believe in God. It's not godly. When you see people pushing we as this against the, you are not religious, you are satanic. Nze nabagamba era nudde mbagamba nti Yesu nze ndaba yalina yakola ebintu bina wano ku nsi. Ekisooka yabuulira enjiri, preach the gospel. Ekyokubiri yawonya abalwadde. Kubanga ebyo byonna si byakwogera, biwandiike byonna ebyo. Ekyokusatu yaliisa abali enjala. He fed the hungry.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The Vice President, Major Retired Jessica Alupo, has called on parents in Arua district to prioritize education, leveraging the prevailing peace and security in the country to educate their children. The Vice President Alupo emphasized the importance of educating all children, including those with physical and mental disabilities, without any discrimination whatsoever. She made these remarks during a fundraising ceremony for the construction of Irshad Mosque in Arua Central, Arua City, Arua District in West Nile Region at the invitation of Honorable Atima Jackson of Arua Central Division.
It's going to be down. One story up. It's going to be down.
Member of Parliament, Honorable Atima Jackson Wuti. I request all Parliamentarians to come inside. All members, Takbir. Takbir. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. Zi emi woro chichi.
Kene muzezi mi gunya gunya yo.
Here in Africa, spirituality is a very important factor because it is the one that shapes our morals. It helps us to build our integrity. As we stand here today, the whole world is celebrating the life of one of the very prominent leaders globally, the Holy Father Pope Francis, who worked with all religious denominations, including the Muslims world over. In his messages and actions, he was drawn to the marginalized, to the poor, to the disabled, the women, the youth, the children, and most importantly, the disadvantaged. In his lifetime, he demonstrated to all of us the attributes of unity, peace, and love, which are also the pillars of Islam, among others. If we want to change West Nile for the better, all the children of West Nile, whether Muslim, Christian, or even non-religious, should all go to school. One of the key outstanding issues that people of West Nile used to raise was the connection of West Nile to the national grid. And recently, last year, we were together in a Nebi where government commissioned a sub-project of 30 megawatts. And also we were in Arua where government commissioned a substation of 30 megawatts. And as we speak, West Nile is connected to the national grid. Government has prepared and government is ready to have and conduct a peaceful, free and fair elections in 2026. I came here to support my brother Jackson Atima with 10 million Uganda shillings.
Uganda's Olympic champion Joshua Cheptegei has won the elite men's race while his compatriot Sarah Chelangat bagged the women's title at the World 10K Bengaluru 2025. Joshua Cheptegei and Sarah Chelangat were the first athletes from Uganda to take home the TCS World 10K titles. Simon came in second while Kenya's Vincent Langat came on third respectively. This marks the return of Cheptegei, who has been previously battling injuries. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has today addressed a public rally at Sembabule Playgrounds in Sembabule Town Council, Sembabule District, where he emphasized the need for irrigation, pasture planting, and modern farming practices to boost agricultural productivity and also to stabilize markets. Highlighting the importance of preparedness for drought seasons, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni urged farmers to embrace irrigation and plant pasture for their animals to ensure that consistent milk and food production throughout the year is met. He also noted that this approach would help Ugandans to maintain a reliable agricultural supply of products like milk and coffee, both locally and internationally. He advised farmers with small land holding to adopt the 4-acre model, encouraging them to plant coffee on 1 acre, fruits on the 2nd acre, pasture for animals on the 3rd, and food crops for family consumption on the 4th. He said that with proper land utilization, even smallholder farmers could achieve significant wealth, while those with larger farms could engage in extensive agriculture. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni also commended Mawogola North MP Honorable Shatsi Mushere Kutesa for championing the message of wealth creation among her constituents, describing it as a true role of a leader as opposed to merely politicking or handing out small sums of money to people.
Don't worry, I will struggle with my Uganda, don't worry.
Shortly after commissioning All Saints Church Zimbabwe, President Museveni turned his attention to one-day wave creation drive in the area. The whole-day gathering was drawn across the entire Zimbabwe district, including its neighborhood.
Your Excellency, next for Tebatwara, mu north, mu south, bwetwegatira wamu nga Honorable Kutesa bwayogedde, tugenda kubeera muntu omu, era tukinuunula.
Abantu b'e Zimbabwe n'emiriraano n'abagenyi mwenna abadde wano okutweyungako okwaniriza pulezidenti waffe tubasanyukidde. Mukama wange pulezidenti, njagala kukwebaza nese kwebaza yenna olw'okujja n'omala wano olunaku olulamba. Okedde nojja n'oggulawo ekkanisa yaffe amakula, n'oyogera, n'obeera n'abantu baawo, n'obeera n'ab'amadiini.
Neye emitima twagenda ne tufuna tractor excavator abalunzi baffe ne tubasimira valley dams 28 ezo nazo zikoze bulungi lwakuba abantu baffe eno tuli balimi, tuli balunzi, twagala amazzi. Kikulu nnyo gye tuli. Ssebo ow'ekitiibwa, tulina kaakati twafuna ekizibu kya FMD naye nakyo twakigoberera ne tuyita abakulembeze wali ku district ne tugamba bino tebijja kubya bya DVO yekka.
After local leaders' addresses, the president was invited to address the general public.
Shatsi wagambye ntemiruka mu 62 bwatyo bwagambye nti muli emiruka 62 kati ekinaatako kwe kumanya nti buli muluka walimu amaka ameka. Kati zino sente zetusindise eza PDM $1,000,000 buli maka buli mwaka. Amaka meka agafunye ate amaka meka agasigaddeyo. Bwe kyetaagisa okwongera mu sente tuyinza kwongera mu sente.
According to the president, Macha's Zimbabwe communities have zeroed much energies in cattle keeping. Agriculture should be another path through.
Eno mu byalo kwe kubagamba nti mukozesa obulimi n'obulunzi n'okulunda ebyennyanja okweja mu bwavu. Ate bwe muba mukola.
However, President Museveni also called on the communities to embrace proper usage of their lands.
Abalima kasooli
alisibwa enkoko be bano bannaffe abalina amataka amanene.
And maybe soya beans.
No kusimba soya beans naye abeera mulungi enkoko zimulya naffe abantu.
Like even sunflower seeds.
N'entungo nayo ekola ku mmere y'enkoko era n'ekufa abantu.
Highlighting the importance of preparedness for drought seasons, President Museveni urged farmers to embrace irrigation and plant pasture for their animals to ensure constant milk and food production throughout the year.
This is irrigation.
Ekigambo ky'okufukirira.
Because in the dry season, the coffee is somehow disrupted.
Atugambye naddala mu budde obw'ekyeya emmwanyi zaffe akasana kaziyisa bubi.
Also the bananas.
Era awamu n'ebitooke.
But even the cows, they need planted grass. This grass grown by God is good, but it's not enough.
Atugambye era mu budde obwo bw'ekyeya n'omuddo gwaffe gukala naddala guno ogulina kyogwa faamuzi nagwo omusana guguyisiza ddala bubi.
So where we are going to now go beyond what we had done, to go to planting pasture, harvesting it and preserving it and feeding the cows.
Atugambye nti kakati gye tulaga asaba tweyongereyo tusimbe omuddo tugukungule ate tugutereke tusobole okuliisanga ente zaffe naddala mu budde obw'ekyeya ng'ekyo.
So that we have constant feeding for the cows.
Kwegamba tubeere nga ente zaffe tezibulwa byakulya essaawa yonna.
He noted that this approach would help Uganda maintain a reliable agriculture supply of products like milk and coffee, both locally and internationally.
So what I see, when I'm coming here by air, I can see there is some very good progress on the ground.
President atugambye bwe yagidde mu nnyonyi yalabye nga bannasembabule tutambudde kakati tukola.
A new wave of hope is sweeping through Uganda's education institutions, where the Emerging Leaders Program, a life skills capacity building and behavior intervention launched by the First Lady and the Minister of Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, is taking center stage in the fight against drug addiction. Let's take a look.
The Emerging Leaders Program is a life skills capacity building and behavioral intervention initiative under the First Lady, which seeks to address critical challenges threatening students' education like addiction to drugs, corruption, substance abuse, and the risk of HIV/AIDS.
So the Choto activity that we are witnessing this evening is part of the Emerging Leaders Program. This program has a campaign called the SAFE campaign. Once you are able to manage your life well, we expect that you will be better positioned to go through university and achieve your academic aspirations.
The purpose is to engage students in values and character development around financial faithfulness, education focus where students can share and ask questions to those in working space.
Where a lot of our young people who have had no guidance can get a bearing into the future. So I do hope that the conversation tonight has helped them realize certain things, but also make certain decisions and aspire to be something in the future, because many of our young people don't even have positive role models.
There are so many small details that we miss or we take for granted when we are walking throughout our university journey, and when a top government official or a big person in your field of expertise, I'm a medical student, and the person speaking to us right now is a distinguished medical personnel in the country. He comes here and he tells me the things you're going through, I went through them also, but this is what I did better. It shows me that I'm on the path to success.
Codenamed SAFE, which stands for Sexually Fortified, Addiction-Free, Financial Faithfulness, and Education, focuses on nurturing the youth.
So when we hold such conversations, we are able to mentor our children, our students, to develop into people that have integrity, people that have good behavior, that will be able to leave school and transition into the area of work when they have good leadership.
At many a times, as students, as young people, we're engulfed in maybe pursuing lives, pursuing careers, pursuing all the things that are out there, and sometimes we are left behind on maybe mentorship, maybe hearing from people who are better off, who have been in the places that we've been. So these conversations bridge a gap that we sometimes miss out on, because the things that we did.
In 2023, the Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Museveni, inaugurated the Makerere University Council, where she asked the University Council to join her and implement the National Anti-Corruption and HIV and AIDS campaign, starting with Makerere University, in a bid to raise dignified generation of youth in Uganda. Sada Mubale, UBC News.
Tensions flared in Kanungu district as parents, teachers and former students of Chief Court schools staged a demonstration. They protested an ongoing dispute over the ownership of the schools originally founded by Dr. Hamlet Kabushenga. Let's take a look.
This Sunday, Kanungu district residents, parents and staff of Chief Court schools took to the streets, demanding clarity on the future of their institutions. They accused certain foreign donors of claiming ownership of the schools. Dr. Hamlet Kabushenga, the founder of Chief Court Schools, is credited with building the institutions from scratch. Demonstrators urged that outside donors had no role in the foundation.
What is happening now is that there was a clandestine takeover of the ownership of these projects, and which was not legitimate and which was not genuine. I feel that justice should prevail so that at the end of it all, the owner and the proprietor of these projects should be in a position to regain these projects.
They also raised strong concerns that threaten their children's moral and cultural values.
Affairs were running so well until people here came and were indoctrinated with bad behaviors. We came here back after that feud on the 2nd of January 2023, and on these doors were colors of the LGBTQI put everywhere on the buildings here, and it was like really a takeover, and they were trying to indoctrinate our pupils here at the school, young as P2 and P1.
Some staff members were concerned over the impact of the conflict on teachers and learners, which seemed to disrupt normal learning and left many uncertain about the future.
Hagibi bintu ebi bizo mikono ye bimugarurize abokuba akabikora no bwese kandi yatungo kole kwa kusinga abandi bona yatungo kole kwa kusinga abandi bona yakule ntungu kwa development.
Aba government tuyambe, nshabe bembezi ba government mutuyambe, minister tuyambe, ba MP mutuyambe, tubingwe bitingo muri Kanungu twaho turi kwenda kunyagwa nutureba.
Addressing the crowd, the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, also Kinkizi East legislator, Dr. Chris Variomonsi, promised to support the community on the matter.
And I would want to sound a warning that even when you are white from wherever you come from, you have no authority whatsoever to come and start invading property here. Even when there is a subsisting conflict which you have taken to court, then wait for court decision. But you don't just take it in your hands, start coming to invade properties and threaten people, and they should stop henceforth.
Sada Mubale, UBC News.
Young people and students of high schools have been advised to love their country by taking advantage of the available government programs to support them in building the nation. These remarks were made by the Director of National Leadership Training Institute, Kano Okey Rukogota, while delivering a public lecture to over 28,000 patriots, and these are undergoing a one-week patriotism training in Western Uganda at Ntale School.
We should work on social media or in other media to expose them. 2, inequality is further caused by not giving equal opportunities to everybody. One way to make sure that there are equal opportunities are government programs like universal primary education, universal secondary school education, and the multiple what? Massive online open courses, free courses which you can study using internet, which is going to be more and more free, so that you get an education and you can seize opportunities that come your way. Sometimes bad people become bad people because they are selfish or they love so much soft life. When you love money so much, you are headed for trouble. You should love money, but not every money. Should they say that let's kill a person and we get money? No. Should you go naked and you are photographed because you want money? Of course, many of them do so. They are working against themselves and also they are working against their country. So some people are opportunists. They are people who work against their country because they want to earn.
The Ministry of Education and Sports has pledged commitment towards the procurement and supply of science kits to both primary and secondary schools across the country. The Principal Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Sports, Haji Abi Musoke, points out that government has so far procured over 1,000 science kits that have benefited 68 districts in the last 4 years.
Science teachers from 20 primary schools in Mpigi district have been trained on the effective use of science kits. The teachers are trained by the Ministry of Education and Sports in collaboration with Riverflow International Science Teachers Initiative to promote the use of scientific knowledge and skills in solving challenges.
You know, for example, this kidding. The learners have been learning this kidding by drawings on the chalkboard, by the drawings in the textbook, but now we expect the teacher to use a model like this to help learners see what they are learning. But we also want them not only see, we want them to also touch this. And also, in other things that we are training them is to use those materials to perform the science they are learning. So that the learners do not see science as something that comes from heaven, something that is real, something that is applicable in their life, and something that gives them love for the science instead of them hearing that science is hard. Something like that. That's what we expect from them. But also, at the end of it all, we want to see the improvement in results. We want to see learners now improving from how they have been performing.
Science kits are educational tools that make science learning interactive and engaging through hands-on activities and experiments. The teachers commended the initiative of introducing science kits in schools, saying that it helps to promote the love for science among pupils and students.
You can even give parts and the learner gets to understand the parts of the skeleton. The learner gets to understand the importance of the skeleton. But one who learns while seeing cannot be like the one who learns when not seeing. When you learn something that you can see with your naked eyes, you never forget. But once you learn theoretically, you will have to do what? You will have to forget.
We thank the government for the initiative they have done, because now they are coming down to primary section to teach science.
The Principal Education Officer in the Ministry of Education and Sports, Haji Abi Musoke, says government will ensure that all schools get science kits.
Last 4 years, the government has been able to procure and distribute 1,336 kits to government-aided primary schools in different districts. So these districts are receiving, but we know not every school has benefited yet. But the journey has started and we feel proud of that.
The science kits equip learners with scientific life skills for socio-economic development.
Big thing about the MTN Super. Wali yakapia musite wali yakapia. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you kabo the smartphone nebi akabibiona. MTN kabo the Super mustairompia. Then you can buy the smartphone nebi akabibiona.
Get the new Kabode Super smartphone and enjoy 16 GB free. Start with a deposit of only 45,000 Uganda shillings and pay the rest in daily installments of less than 1K. You can also make weekly and monthly installments. Together, our vibes are unstoppable. Terms and conditions apply. MTN. MTN is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission.
The Uganda National Oil Company, UNOC, is wholly owned by the Government of Uganda and was established to safeguard and promote Uganda's commercial interests in the petroleum sector. UNOC has two subsidiaries, the Uganda Refinery Holding Company, URHC, which will hold a 40% stake in the 60,000 barrel per day refinery and manage the development of Kabalega Industrial Park, and the National Pipeline Company Limited, NPC, in charge of pipelines, storage, and downstream business ventures. This subsidiary holds 15% interest in the East African Crude Oil Pipeline, EACOP. EACOP is a 1,445-kilometer long pipeline that will transport crude oil through 10 districts in Uganda to the port of Tanga in Tanzania. UNOC is also actively engaged in crude oil exploration, development, and production activities, and its participation role includes a 15% stake in the Tilenga, Nwoya, and Bulisa, and Kingfisher development projects, Chikure. UNOC also holds the exploration license for Kasuruban Block in Hoima, Bulisa, and Masindi. UNOC currently owns and manages the Ginger Storage Terminal and will build a 320 million litre capacity terminal in MPG called the Kampala Storage Terminal. At UNOC, we're harnessing the potential of Uganda's petroleum resources, forging a sustainable future and preserving the natural beauty of Uganda. UNOC, your partner in Uganda's oil and gas industry.
Step into a world of excellence, comfort and pride with Royal Foam Furniture, crafted to perfection right here in Uganda. We bring you state-of-the-art living room furniture and bedding products at affordable prices. Our wide variety of mattresses include orthopedic, pillow top, spring mattresses suitable for institutions like hotels, and many others for home comfort. With every piece telling a story of royal excellence, our products are built with the highest quality materials made to last. Experience royalty with Royal Foam Furniture, proudly made in Uganda, so buy Uganda and build Uganda. Visit our showrooms at Ginger Road, Chambogo Junction, Bukota Chisasi Road, and on Victoria Mall, Entebbe, on the first floor.
Life in Uganda today comes with so many uncertainties.
Where will Madam get Kameza if I get an accident and can't work?
If anything happens to me, what will Junior eat?
Kale Musa is still in the hospital. Guy is missing a lot of money here.
With a monthly payment of only 3,000 shillings off your Equity personal account for Equi-Life Insurance, you will be entitled to 50,000 shillings hospital cash per night spent in a registered facility, up to 20 nights every year. And your family will receive 3 million shillings in case of your death. Visit your nearest Equity agent to sign up today or call 0312 327 000 for assistance.
When you want to relax your body and refresh your mind, welcome to Hotel La Confidential, Aroa's premier destination for luxury and comfort. The only hotel in Aroa City offering a serene atmosphere, breathtaking scenery. Come and discover our exclusive wellness club with packages that include a fully equipped gym, a rejuvenating sauna, steam bath, and a great sky blue swimming pool. For events, our state-of-art conference halls and versatile event spaces are perfect for hosting shows, wedding receptions, birthdays, and more. come and enjoy our cinema hall and unisex saloon, all designed to meet your entertainment and grooming needs. Bring your family and let your kids splash around in our beautiful kids water park. We are located on Uganda Highway in the heart of Arua City. Don't wait. Visit us on www.hotelconfidential.com or call us on 0761 688 181.
Hey, Okero. Hey, Kajambo. Mukasa. Where are you going with the family?
Oh no.
Hey.
We are on our way to the polling station. The Electoral Commission is displaying the National Voters Register. And I need to make sure my name is on it.
Oh.
And Sophie here wants to confirm her voter details. We are all warming up for elections together.
What about these young men? I can see you.
These ones are no longer boys. They are now men. Last election, they were too young to vote. But now, they are ready to vote.
Mukasa, you have really inspired me. Now let me also go home and pick my wife so that we can check the details in the register. Okay. See you on the polling station.
The National Voters Register will be displayed at your polling station from 25th April to 15th May 2025. Please do not miss this chance to confirm your polling station and your voter details. Report the dead for removal from the register and those who appear more than once. Every vote matters. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Uganda.
Yes, welcome back. You're still watching the UBC News Tonight, broadcasting live from Nile Avenue. We take you into the world of sports. Uganda Aquatics has held their elective assembly at Copper Chimney Restaurant in Lugogo. Most executives retained their seats on the committee, including Federation President Moses Benon Mwase. These are the details.
Having served Uganda Swimming for the past 4 years, Uganda Aquatics held their elective assembly at Copper Chimney in Lugogo. The election was conducted by Mr. Kenneth Akampurira, a lawyer and advocate of the High Court, with the presence of all swimming club representatives, coaches, athletes, and media. Those who retained their positions included Moses Benon Mwase as president, Peter Mugisha as first vice president, Tony Kasuja as second vice president, Max Kanyerezi as secretary general, Mary Ann as assistant general secretary, Nakakawa Florence as treasurer, and Mubarak Semanda as Western region representative. Asman Nyojintono was elected Northern region representative.
The last one. Asman.
President Moses Mwase emphasized that more work remains to be done to elevate Ugandan swimming to greater heights.
In all, we want to thank the members of the Uganda Aquatics Assembly that have entrusted us with a new mandate for 4 years. We have also promised that we shall review our strategic plan so that we align it with the new law. But this year, we also want to ensure that we ramp up our secretariat and leadership structure. We want to ensure that we populate all the committees that will serve the community, but also that we, first of all, hire a CEO for aquatics for the very first time. So, and these are some of the things that government wants to see, but also for us to be able to serve our communities better. If we're going to be in almost all the corners of Uganda, we have to have a ramped up secretariat with ability.
A representative from the National Council of Sports, James Kasumba, commended the Uganda Swimming Fraternity for their well-organized elections.
Unlike other federations where you always find that election AGM always characterized by violence, limiting access by members to have access to the voting venues, and all sorts of violence. At least Aquatics has been one of those ones where they have exercised their democracy, electing in their new leaders, and actually considering regional representatives as per the guidelines of the new law. I'm extremely delighted that if other federations can actually go relief from Uganda Aquatics, it would be a smooth actual elections all over, and we would be proud of that as regulators of sports in Uganda.
The newly elected and retained Uganda Aquatics executive team will serve until 2029. Cayenne Faith, Miro Marshall for UBC.
The BIFA 16 Budo 2016 cohort, or with Jubilee Insurance, has hosted the match day experience at the Budo League, blending football with brand engagement in true BIFA style. This was the 8th edition of the games, running with teams currently meeting in football. League organizers believe that they are using the league to promote unity and undying culture of former Budonians.
I still think this league is the top league. We have benefited through the social networks around. We have managed to make friends, get jobs, get partnerships. Because in this league we have teams of players that left in 2004 going against teams of players that left in 2019. So without this league, there's no way those players would have crossed paths or interacted. For example, as we left school in 2016 and today we're playing against gentlemen who left in 2009. We're going to go have a good time with them, share jokes and banter. So without the league, we would have never crossed paths with those people who left when we were still in primary.
The core principle of the league is to network. Very many of our friends, we wouldn't be meeting often if it wasn't for this league. So we have gotten closer. You know how the whole team thing builds you guys together. You learn how to associate with different people, how to live with different people, how to work with different characters. Also, we've managed to tap into the older years and connections. Personally, I got my job from a person in an older year. So yeah, that's it basically. Yeah.
The fact that it's a communion of Budonians from different eras. The oldest team in the league left Budo in 2003. The youngest team left Budo in 2022. So a communion of all of those people, a communion of people who've been working for 20 years and people who are just beginning their careers makes this a special occasion. The current season is season 8. We've run 8 seasons since 2018. The thing that makes it special is that we are a bit different from the other leagues in that the majority of our people are young. We have the people who are below 30 make up over 70% of the league. So we always have a bevy of energy. We have a lot of, how can I call it, vigor.
A Rukunjiri born-again pastor has launched prayers for the national football team, Uganda Cranes, ahead of the next year's FIFA World Cup. In his prophecy, the born-again pastor from Southwestern District of Rukunjiri, Evangelist Alfred Mugarura, says that with his prayers, Uganda will be the first African country to win the World Cup trophy in 2026. According to the evangelist, his previous prophecies have all come true, especially when he prophesied Uganda's win against Guinea, where Uganda won by 1 goal. He also cited his prayers for one of the next FC player, Paul Muchurezi, who hails from the neighboring district of Ntungamo. And immediately after the prayers on 12th April, Muchurezi won an award of Best Player of the Month of March, Uganda's March.
March 2025. There are 2 prophecies about football, and the first one was Uganda will be the first African nation to win the World Cup. Ugandan team under 17 qualifying for the first ever World Cup in history. Yes, that one was everywhere all over the news, and it is also real. So we thank God so much because after saying those prayers, those signs followed, which we believe it is the starting point, because when the under 17 now goes for the World Cup, that means this is the young talent, it is coming up, meaning in a very short time they will be on the senior team in Uganda Cranes. So that is the future of our football. The second thing we are praying for on the 6th of April, we are praying for the Ugandan footballers that they can get a breakthrough so that we can see them play in the top leagues of the world. For example, the Premier League, English Premier League, the the La Liga, the Bundesliga. So those were the two major points we were praying for, the 6th of April. So we're hopeful that since this under-17 has gone for the World Cup or qualified for the World Cup, we are so much hopeful that some of its players will be scouted. We're hopeful that some of its players will be scouted, and that will be the beginning and the beginning of a breakthrough. So we thank God so much for that, and if it wants to see its glorious days again. So we are launching those prayers on the 25th of May. 25th of May.
And that brings us to the end of the 8 o'clock edition of the UBC News Tonight with me, Wadulo, Anold, Mark, Dorothy Namuyomba on sign language. We now leave you with Buza Commissioner with the Commissioner General, John Musinguzi Rujoki.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Buza Commissioner.
Welcome to Buza Commissioner. The question that came in from Francis from Nakaseke is about exporting vanilla to Egypt. I have a trade agreement with a colleague in Egypt. I want to sell to him vanilla. Please let me know all the taxes that I have to pay. Now, Francis, first of all, there are no taxes on exports of vanilla to any country around the world. So your first assurance is that you'll not be asked to pay any taxes before you export. The only taxes that you'll meet later will be income tax when you have started making profits from your business. As you know, income tax is only paid as a percentage of the profits. So once you start the export business, depending on how much you invest, how much you'll be selling your vanilla, and how much you'll be able to profit at the end of the year, you may or may not have any taxes to pay. As you know, income tax is paid annually. So you'll make your returns and say, these were my sales, these were my expenses, this was my gross profit. And if the gross profit is in the positive, in other words, you profited, you'll be required to pay income tax, which is 30% of your gross profit. After minusing all your expenses, what stays as your profit, you pay 30% as income tax. But practically speaking, for your new business, which is going to be a startup, I would like to say you have no taxes to pay as you deal into this business of exporting your vanilla to Egypt.
Buza Commissioner. Now you can get direct answers. Send your tax-related questions via WhatsApp or SMS to 0790-141-887, and the Commissioner General of URA, John Musinguzi, will personally address them. Buza Commissioner.
The next question is from Mr. Joseph Nsubuga Patrick from Tanzania. This is from the East Africa. Welcome, Joseph Patrick. And your question is,